Welcome back to Conversations with Marianne and Desiree.
Hi, welcome back.
Today we start a new series of videos, which is all about creating a breakthrough. You know, we have this online workshop series, Embracing Life, and we approach it from different angles. And the next short series is about the breakthroughs. And today we talk about the first part of a breakthrough, which could be a very good approach, which is called the pattern interrupt. And we all have seen that somewhere in a video, in a movie. You see somebody screaming hysterically, and instead of calming them down, somebody else slaps them fully in their face. It's not because they're angry, but it's because they want to snap them out of the hysteria. History, is it? No, hysteria. Because they're hysteric. So we talk about this pattern interrupt today. And there's different ones, isn't there, Marianne?
Yeah, this is an example that you just gave us about an interruption that comes from the outside. So you're hysterical and somebody slaps you in the face. Another thing can be when you move away for a little while. So if you go on holiday, for instance, and you notice that you eat differently, you move more, that might be a pattern interrupt for you to say, okay, when I come home, I'm going to clean out all my cupboards. I'm going to buy different things, do a different kind of diet and move more. So that could be something. Another thing could be, and that is what happens a lot also, you go to the doctors, you get blood work done or something, and a doctor just simply saying to you, if you continue like this, I give you just another 5 or 10 more years instead of whatever you were thinking of. So that could be a pattern interrupt from the outside. Then there's also this pattern interrupt from the inside where you feel that this is it, no more. I cannot do this anymore. It can be something about your body. It can be something about your relationship. But you reach a moment where you say, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this pain anymore. I cannot continue to live for this. Some kind of wake up call. And I believe you experienced something like this, Desiree.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. It was actually a mix. It was actually a mix of a pain, but also an aha moment, because one of the internal pattern interrupt could also come by an enlightening moment, a moment where you wake up to something that you weren't as aware before. And for me, it was a mix of both. So I was in this conference of outdoor coaches. So a lot of outdoor exploration things combined with coaching. And I joined that 1 2-hour course into the woods with a coach that I really liked, that I thought has a lot to offer. And I came more along because of curiosity, not because I had any issue I wanted to work through. It was really more to learn from him how to do these things. So we went into the woods, and first we started in a talking circle. So we sat in a small space between the trees, and he had a talking stick and different people and could talk. And the idea there was, a process of leaving something behind that you don't want to carry with anymore. It was more like the weight on your shoulders. You have a weight on the shoulders that you want to leave behind and be more freely again. And one of the participants had a strong pain. She was crying a lot because her partner just passed, and she wanted to drop that sadness. And her reaction triggered something in me, because all of a sudden, when she was finished, there was an outbreak in me that I would have never expected, and I had no idea it would happen. I didn't feel anything. All of a sudden, there was this strong sadness and pain that broke out. I was sobbing. I was like literally almost lying on the floor. Like, it was incredible. And it was all based on, when I was in 4th grade, we moved the school into the woods, and we kept walking into the woods, always, through the woods to the school from different villages, until we had a child molester in the woods, and they couldn't catch him. So all of a sudden we were not allowed in the woods, but it was hard for 4th graders to understand the severity of it. So we still kept going into the woods when people didn't look. To protect us, they showed us a film that was so horrendous that I could film it today. And since that time, I was uneasy to be in the woods alone until a few years ago. I was scared when, going alone into the woods. I was scared being alone in the dark outside. When I was with my kids, it was okay because I would protect them. But if it was me alone, I was really still having this childhood fear that they placed in me with that video to protect me. I still had that. And that broke out, that desire to be happy again in the woods without having that fear. And it broke out really bad. Anyway, then we went through a process where you become very clear of what you want to leave behind, which for me was very clear at that point. We had to find objects in nature to represent what we wanted to leave behind, but we also had to find objects that would replace that. So if I wanted to leave behind the fear, I had to find the joy of being in the woods and feeling safe, right? If I wanted to leave behind the feeling threatened by other people close by to me in the darkness or in the woods as a possible threat, I had to want to replace it with the joy of meeting other people who enjoy the woods. So you had to replace it with something. And then we created it was beautiful with branches and everything. We created all together a gate, and every person in their own time took the process where they marched up to the gate. They dropped consciously those things they wanted to leave behind on the floor. And then they took a moment to really let this dropping of this, leaving it behind, settle in. You step through, and then you really spend time with a moment of time with what you replaced it with to integrate that into you, to really own that new thing that you have collected. And afterwards, you wrote a letter to yourself that he sent to you weeks later. But it's so incredible. I would have just listened to this, you know, it sounds so unreal, but I truly left the fear behind, something I couldn't do for, I don't know, 30 years. Now I'm so happy in the woods, and I can be alone there even in the evening, and I don't have that fear anymore. And that process made that possible. It's quite exceptional.
Yeah, and that's a great example which you give, that it's not when you do this pattern interrupt or when you want to do this breakthrough, you need, first of all, as you were saying, you need to be very clear on what you want to leave behind. That's the first thing this pattern interrupt will give you. But also at the same time, it's very important to know what you want to replace it with, right? Because every habit, whether it's to stop smoking, stop drinking, stop eating, changing your eating patterns, just saying I will stop this is not going to give you the new process or the new tools to then continue when you get this urge to smoke or drink or whatever it is that you're attached to. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next few videos, right? What kind of things are necessary to reach this breakthrough, to really make this breakthrough. And many times it's about changing habits. When you change your habits, you really change your life. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next a couple of videos. What are the steps there? What lessons? What do you need to really realize this breakthrough? So watch out, and that's going to be within this whole, under the umbrella of our Embracing Life online workshop series. Have a look at our website. There's various topics that we're going to give these workshops in. And but first of all, be sure to come and look at our next couple of videos. See you soon.
See you then. Thank you.